Good morning and welcome to JennJiggles. Today is August 29th, 2018, and hello, happy Wednesday. How are you? Were you successful yesterday? Did you struggle a bit? Either or, it's okay. Just keep going. But I'm not here to lecture. So I'm in my pajamas and I've just come out of the shower because I'm going to go to bed because I slept like last night. I did practice what I was taught, and that was about getting myself to bed at a reasonable hour. So at 9 o'clock, I stood up and said to Ian, I'm going to bed. And he fell shortly after. The reason that I think I was so antsy yesterday about that is because I am one of those people who, when they go to bed, if they go to sleep and then their spouse comes up and wakes them up, I can't get back to sleep. Makes me kind of grumpy and makes me very tired. But last night I woke up in the middle of the night, had nothing to do with anything like that. I just woke up and I started awake and I couldn't get back to sleep for about 3 hours. And I'm knackered. And I also think that, sorry, I gotta scan up a little bit. I also think that some of it is just leftover tiredness from having a tummy bug. So yeah, my other things. Weight report, I have lost a pound. I did get on the scales this morning and it said I was a pound down. So after having that bit of weight gain, I'm starting to get back. So I am within a pound, wait a minute. I'm within 2 pounds now of getting back to where I was. So that's really good. I did drink a lot yesterday, so some of that could be fluid, so it might actually be less, but, you know, it is what it said on the scale as far as I'm concerned. I heard back from my coach this morning about my query about getting back on track, and he said basically, you just have to get back on track. There is no magic. I strayed. I need to learn from that stray, and just do it. You know what you got to do, so just do it. You have a short-term goal, Jen, so you have to meet that. That is your commit. So that sparked something. I had like this epiphany, you know, angels coming down from the sky, moment, and I blogged about it. So today, hopefully, this will help somebody, maybe not, who knows. But I'm going to read what I blogged today because it was really significant for me. And it's right here in front of me on Notepad, so I'm just going to read it. And then, yeah, and then I'll talk a little bit about it after. And I think the title of this was, I think I figured out my phases. So there are a few pieces. The first one is the woohoo, this is great, the oohs and ahs piece. And the newness phase. And then we have the next phase, which is the rut-row shaggy. And that's sort of for me, that's the, oh my God, this is going to take forever phase. And the third phase is, holy shnikes, I'm nearly fracking there. And I did it, and my chest is spread out. And I'm like, yay, me. I achieved it phase. So 1 and 3 seem pretty cool, right? Wrong. The cool is the work, aka stage 2. That's the coolest bit. That's the one where I changed not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. And I am working at that really hard right now. Phase 2 for me means pushing through and reaching short-term goals. And I know everybody who watches this doesn't have a 100 pounds to lose, but I do. Well, not anymore, but I did. And that's a big goal. That was not working for me. So we reach short-term goals. We don't look forward to how far we have to go. We look back at what we've already accomplished, and we think about how proud that makes us, and that just motivates us to keep going. And I learned from that. I learned from last week. I know why I did what I did, and it was because I was bored out of my skull with my diet, and I don't like that word, but that's just what it is. To me, diet means the foods I was eating. I was bored. Bored out of my mind. Just bored. And that's why I did what I did. So, we need to, what do we learn from that? We need to mix things up. Do not eat the same freaking thing every freaking day. You change it up. And that, yeah, so that means you have to make an effort. Well, isn't that what this is about? I mean, in a million different ways, making an effort. And this is me scolding myself, not preaching to you. So at the moment, I'll go on to the end. At the moment, I feel like I've been floating for about a week and a half in that ever so familiar bouncy weight castle, up and down and up and down. There's no fun in this castle at all. I feel like I've been in an abyss, just floating and not seeing a direction. I'd originally chosen to travel, and I was that close, like on Thursday, to saying, oh, fuck, I'm giving up. I don't even care. This isn't even worth it. I'm 53 years old, blah, blah, blah. But it is worth it. So I read back this morning, and I know the path I need to take. So one step, and then another, and slow and steady wins the race. And for me right now, that race is November and that 20-pound goal. So this takes me back to last night when I stopped Ian in the lounge, because Ian's not a tiny guy. He's not a tiny guy. I mean, he's not like 850 pounds, but he's not small. And I said to him, he had made me a cup of tea, so I didn't have to go back into the kitchen, because sometimes I get tempted at night and I didn't want to go into the kitchen. So he made me a cup of chai tea, because he was making a coffee anyway. And he kissed me when he put the tea down. And I said, what have you eaten? And he said, I've just had a marshmallow. Now, I was lucky enough to get American marshmallows, which are like this big, for Byron to barbecue this summer. And he walked away, and he went back and sat in his chair in his sort of guitar corner where he keeps his guitars and his LPs and his reel-to-reel and all his stuff. And I said his name, and he didn't hear me because he had his headset on, because he was playing guitar into this thingy that he uses to put instruments in. I don't know what the hell you call it. Frankly, don't give a much. Anyway, I called him again, and he came over, and he's like, are you okay? And I said, I need to ask you a question. And I said, you know how you say that you're overweight? And he said, yeah. And I said, do you ever look at yourself and go, yuck? And he goes, no. I look at myself and go, you need to lose weight. But I don't ever look at myself and think, ugh. And I said, because I do. Why do I do that and you don't do that? And he just looked at me and said, and this is, I think, the first time I've ever asked this man a question. He goes, you know what, Jen? I don't have an answer to that. So why do we look at ourselves and go, yuck? Is it expectations that we have, our own expectations of what our physicality should be? Or is it what society's put on us, which I don't subscribe to, because I'm not being funny, but yeah, no, I'm not a blamer. I don't blame society for everything that goes wrong in my life. That's my post. But yeah, then I started, that sort of sparked these thoughts of, what are my expectations? And do I set unreasonable expectations for myself? And the answer was totally yes. And this just is another reason why short-term goals are best for me. And they might be good for you too. Who knows? So what are my expectations that I made a list of like 3 or 4. And I didn't write them down, but they're in my head. Or maybe I can find them. Who knows? It's a bit of a jumble in there sometimes. But one of them was the way in which I want to be able to dress myself this time next year, which was the way I used to dress myself. And I don't think that's going to happen. I'm 53. My skin isn't as elastic as it was, so I'm gonna have a belly and I'm gonna have a little bit of loose skin. And I'm always gonna have these bat wings now, I'm afraid. So that's unrealistic. So I need to be more realistic about that. Not saying I can't dress the way I used to, but I'm not 20 anymore. So that needs to just go somewhere in a pocket. Also, I set unreal expectations on myself in other ways. My friends don't expect me to be perfect. My family doesn't expect me to be perfect. I expect me to be perfect. So if my sisters, one of my sisters or my brothers contact me, or one of my friends contacts me, I am moving myself away from feeling like I have to respond right away with some PC response. Rather, I'm starting to take a day or two to think about what they've said to me, rather than responding in what I think people want me to say to them. And that's starting to work really well for me, because it's taken a lot of the pressure off constantly checking my messages on Facebook and my PMs from my family and my emails from my family and friends. And at first I felt really guilty. I mean, I had so much guilt. And then that's kind of ebbed, really. And that's a good thing. But that was an unrealistic expectation. I think, and I say that because I think, not my friends and family think, that I had to respond within 3 seconds or I was this awful human being. And I'm not an awful human being. Another unreasonable expectation I have on myself is wanting people to like me. Now, you're either going to like me or you're not going to like me. And this medium is the best way to find out whether people like you or not. And if you don't like me, fine. You can say, I don't like you, but keep nasty comments to yourself. Or you can say, I like you. I like your personality, or I like your personality, but these are things that annoy me. And that's fine. And I might go away and think about it and go, yeah, you're right. Or I might just go, whatever. But yeah, I think there's this whole culture right now that, people are subscribing to, as it were. And you should just accept people for who they are. For me, in my case, I don't care if people like me on here. I really don't, because except for my friends who I know watch this and my family, I couldn't give a rat's rear end, to be honest. Don't be hurt, but I don't really know you. Where some of you, I know about you. I know your life and things, and that's really good. But yeah. Now, in my real life, I have one problem and one problem only, and that is with my husband's side of the family, and it's not their problem, it's my problem. I really, 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 really don't feel as though any of them like me. And I don't know if that's in my head or if it's true, if it's one of those womanly intuition things. But Ian said something really pointed the other day to me, in that it doesn't matter to him, any of that. As long as he likes me, that should be all that matters. And he's absolutely freaking right. And I was going out of my way to make sure that he was being the son that I would like all of my sons to be, in that he goes and visits his parents and he lets them know what's going on with him and things. Because moms and dads never change. They just want to make sure you're safe. And if they hear from you for 3 seconds, that's all they need. But I'm not going to do that anymore, because that isn't my responsibility. That's his. So, yeah. So, that's gone out the window. I am not doing that anymore. his relationship with his mom and dad is his business. It's nothing to do with me. And if they perceive me as anything less than who I am, then that is on them, and they don't know me at all. So there you go. So these are things that are, you know, unreal expectations that I've set for myself that I am letting go of. And it's not really a change in that I have to make a point to do it. I'm just saying, that's it. That's enough. Now, how does this relate to my weight loss? It is one less thing to worry about. So I can spend more time focusing on what's best for me. And maybe that sounds selfish, but I don't care, because right now I need me. They're not coming to my house, and you can't come to my house because you are very far away probably, and only I can do those things for me. So I have to depend on me. You can say words to me. That's great, and I love it, and it helps. It does help. Oh my God, it helps so much. But I really got to get myself a regimen that works for me. And if I need to free up my mental space and my physical time, that is exactly what I'm going to do. Because I will not succeed if I don't do that. And I'm just saying, for me, that is a good thing. It might work for you. Try. Maybe you have a calendar full of social commitments. Is there one that you can drop in order to give yourself a half an hour worth of quiet time, or maybe a half an hour to go for a walk, or listen to music, or read something that inspires you? Yeah, maybe. Right. Well, that's all my lecture for today, and it's gone on for 17 minutes. I'm really, really sorry, everybody. I do hope it helped. If you think I'm a horrible person now, I'm sorry. But that's life. Anyway, I hope that you're happy, and I hope that you're healthy, and I hope that you have a good Wednesday. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Bye.